Hi everybody, welcome back to OC Aviary. In today's video we're going to be looking at some of the young birds and assessing them that we bred early on this season. Most of them have about finished the molt now, so we're going to get them in some show cages and we're going to take a look at what we think. We've got Greenfinches, Redpolls, Twites and Canaries to look at today, so stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new around here. We're aiming for 10,000 subscribers before the end of 2022. We're going to begin today with the Greenfinches. The Greenfinches had a relatively successful year. We bred from 4 of our 5 pairs. Therefore, we have a variety of different lines in the offspring. I've selected 4 different offspring from 4 different pairs for you to look at today. Hopefully, we will see some nice signs in them, some good qualities and improvements from the birds last year. Now, do bear in mind that this is the first time these birds have been in show cages. Therefore, they're not going to look the best and they're not going to show themselves the best. They're not quite comfortable at the moment. So do bear that in mind. As we progress throughout the course of the next few months, we'll get more and more show training done and develop into hopefully rather nice birds for the show bench. So these are our 4 European Greenfinches to look at today. We've got 2 cocks and we've got 2 hens. The first male here, the depth of colour is quite good on this bird, however he does look quite scruffy. This is due to him being in a molt still, he's just finishing off replenishing those feathers. This is the second male now. The depth of colour isn't quite as good on this bird as the previous one, however he does sit on the perches nicer, he does display himself better. This is the first female. Now this bird, it looks a little bit nervous. The colour isn't quite as good on this one, maybe it'll improve. And this is the second female, a hell of a lot better colour, however it is still a nervous bird, definitely needs more show cage training. So what are my overall thoughts on these birds? Well, there's a couple of points that need to be mentioned. First off is the size of the heads on these birds. They're slightly smaller than I'm looking for. Now, I'm hoping they'll fill out over the next month or so as they do completely finish the molt and they start to fill out a bit more. It's something that I've noticed that they did a lot last year with the parents of these birds. So hopefully that will come in time. There's an overall improvement in the colour of the hens, I would definitely say. The hens have got a lot more green on them and a lot more darker brown than previously, so that's a really good point. And finally, they just need more training. They need a bit more steadiness in them. They need more show cage training because right now they're not going to show themselves anywhere near as well as I would expect them to be doing in sort of November, December time once the shows all start. So we'll take a look at them again in a few months' time. We'll compare them to the parents as well and we'll see what sort of birds we really have, what calibre of birds we've got for the shows and the breeding season. So next up are the Redpolls. We've had a really challenging season with them. From 9 pairs, we've only managed to produce 8 youngsters, those being 6 normals and 2 cinnamons. So now let's take a look at 2 normal nestmates and 2 cinnamon nestmates who were bred earlier on this season. These are our lesser Redpolls. On the left we have 2 cinnamons and on the right we have 2 normals. This first cinnamon here now, I think it's almost clearly a cockbird. The striations on the flanks of this bird look really good for a cinnamon. I must admit the chest is slightly wide open with the white, but something that can be improved through more selective breeding. The poll on this bird, the cap, looks fantastic. Now this is the second cinnamon. I'd suggest this is a hen. It doesn't show itself anywhere near as good as the previous one. It needs to calm down a bit and stay off the perches. This is the first normal. Now, again, this bird needs to stay off the front of the cage. It's a problem, it's a fault, and it will be marked down in the show for this. However, the striations on this bird do look to be alright. This is the second normal. Now, it looks quite cobby, which is good. A slightly short tail. It needs, again, work to keep staying on the perches, more training, but the colour of the bird does look quite good, and I think it'll improve over time. Overall, for these 4 Redpolls, I think the main thing to come away from today with is more show cage training, and then we can really assess the quality of these birds once they've calmed down and finished the molt. The 2022 breeding season was my first time with Twice, and I must say these lovely little birds have been an absolute pleasure to keep so far. We've bred 2 youngsters from them as well this year, so we've got a young cock I believe and a young hen, which you're going to see in a moment. I'm keen to keep breeding these guys, and I'm keen to bring on some more pairs as well for next season. The 2 birds I'm most proud of breeding this season were the Twice. We've got 2 youngsters here, we've got a cock on the left and a believed hen on the right. Now the cockbird, he looks a lovely bird, his rump has gone red, so that's how I know it's a cockbird, but he needs to stay off the front of the cage. That's a fault in the shows. The striations on the bird do look good. I'd say the depth of colour is not awful, it could do with improvements, but it's good. And this is the hen. Now the depth of colour isn't there, it's a bit more washed out and dilute, but the markings are not bad at all, and she does seem to sit on the perches a little bit better than the other one. Overall for the Twice, I think the show cage training of course is needed, especially as they age, but they are looking nice birds. I am very pleased with them, and hopefully we'll get some nice results come the shows from them, and we'll be looking to make pairs for these guys come next breeding season. Last but not least are the young Canaries. Now we've bred a number of breeds this season. We've bred some yellow agate opals, we've bred some white agate opals, we've bred some crossbred feeders, some yellow mosaic, some Irish, some Fifes, some Rasas, and we've bred some Norwich as well and some Harlequins. So we're going to have a look at a selection of those youngsters now and we'll see what we think. This is a Harlequin Canary I bred this year. It's midway through the molt, but the red is coming through on it quite nicely. It does seem to be working the perches quite well and is standing somewhat upright, which is good in the Harlequins. These are some agate opal new colours. On the left we have yellow agate opals, and on the right we have recessive white agate opals, all bred from the same pair. The parents were split recessive white clearly, and also split some other mutations. This is a yellow feathered, an intensive feathered yellow agate opal. I believe this is a cockbird. This is a buff, a non-intensive feathered yellow agate opal. I believe this could be a hen, it is rather small. And this is a recessive white agate opal. An interesting bird, didn't expect it to come out, but nice nevertheless. This is the first ever Norwich Canary bred here at OC Avery. It's a lovely white variegated bird, however it's clearly not the show standard we look for in a Norwich. The head's rather small, the body shape isn't quite right, but nevertheless it is a nice bird and perhaps good for some blue muling come next year. And this is actually the mother of the young white, and the reason I included this in today's video was just to show you the effect colour feeding has. You can see the real bright, thick orange feathers on this bird, and then the older yellow feathers, and that just shows you the effect of colour feeding. And she's not a great specimen either as a Norwich, but a nice bird nevertheless. So that is the end of today's video, so if you have enjoyed it, please make sure to subscribe down below. Let's hit 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year. If you'd like to follow along more as well, make sure to follow our social media, Instagram, Facebook, and now TikTok in the description of this video as well. And if you have enjoyed today's video, picked up some useful tips and you want to see more, smash a like on it as well. It's very much appreciated. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. See you in the next one.